Imagine sugar that is perceived as considerably sweeter than the sugar you use every day. So you might use 1 spoon of sugar instead of 2 in your coffee, but have the same taste, the same sweetness. This is what we do at Doux Matok. The problem of overconsumption of sugar is huge. You don't need me to bring you up to speed on the costs. What we set out to do at Doux Matok is not so much to replace sugars, but to reduce sugars, but keep the same taste profile. So less sugars is less caloric value, but same taste. The entry to our lab, there's a notice reading, "Taste is king." We also understood that if we'll have a magnificent product that'll be expensive, all we'll get is compliments, but no business. So we shot for price parity or cheaper than sugars. We are fortunate to deal with sugars, so the retaining of the energetic effect of sugars is there. Has anybody ever been asked for aspartame because they are tired? Sugars, we are often asked for sweet sugars to prep ourselves up. No aftertaste, taste is king. We are not about formulations trying to hide the nasty tastes of artificial sweeteners or stevia. You can formulate using our products. And finally, we understood we have to stay within food-permitted materials, or else the regulatory challenges would be too big. So what is the technology? Think of drug delivery. What is drug delivery? You take less of an active material, you try and create less damage to healthy cells on the way, and try and be as effective as possible when you reach the receptor. We do flavor delivery. Less of the active material, we lose less of it on the way to the sweet receptors, and we hope to be more effective at the sweet receptors. How do we do it? We take micron-size mineral, we load it with sugar or polyol molecules, and we schlep it or send it to the receptors, and then download the sugars in the saliva by the receptors, tricking the receptors to believe there's more sugar in the product than there actually is. When we've proven ourselves, we went into applications. And what you see here is whipped cream. Blue is sugar, normal sugar. Red is 35% reduced Doux Matok, and the green is stevia, the outlier. You can see that sugar and Doux Matok sugars are the same, virtually the same, at 35% reduction. We've done the same for sucrose, glucose, corn syrup, xylitol, maltitol, erythritol, and allulose. The markets are huge. Sugar is everywhere. So, a few months ago, we started sending samples, and we are beginning to get the results. We were successful in sweet yogurts in Europe and Israel, morning cereals in Europe and Israel, biscuits in the UK, cakes in the UK and Israel, and cranberry juice here in the US. We, following a 1.8 seed round, are now raising money to take this technology to commercial level. We also have a similar technology for salt delivery that we hope to take. So, Doux with an X is sweet in French. Matok is sweet in Hebrew. Doux in Hebrew is double. So sweet, sweet, double sweet. We wait for you. Come and taste. Thank you.
There's a lot of emerging evidence on how when you trick your palate into thinking you're having more sugar, you're tricking your brain and you can mess with metabolic syndrome substantially. A lot of emerging evidence on this. So consumers who think they're having more sugar may actually consume more real sugar offline or separately simply because their bodies think they've not gotten enough from a sort of metabolic syndrome point of view. Have you thought about the implications on health longer term when developing this product?
Yes, we did. Now, there's a company called Cenomyx, an interesting US company in the NASDAQ. They have developed an allosteric modulator which does a biology job and opens the flap door of the receptors for longer and more sugars come in. This is biology. We actually satisfy sugar amount that people want or need. We are not anything but sugar. It is sugar at the end of the day. So what you do is you create satisfaction with less. That's all.
So I'm curious about how your technology for the salt differs from what New Tech is doing. Though they are not using actual salt, they are looking to address how the palate receives and the taste receptors receive a sodium alternative to make it perceived more like salt. I'm curious if you have the technology to tell our taste receptors that something is sweeter than it is, why not play with an alternative sweetener that would be less damaging and use that technology for even greater good?
Well, first of all, we don't use potassium or stuff like that. We use flavor delivery. We use another way or another carrier to carry the message of salt, more salt or less salt. That's all. And it's a dramatic difference that you can play with the salt. The mechanisms are different, the receptors are different, everything is different, but the principle is the same. But I'll tell you, it doesn't stop there. People talked here about ketchup. We've done ketchup with 50% of the sugar, and what came out was much more tomato. We've done in Europe the yogurts. One of the yogurts that was tested was vanilla yogurt. And we got back the report saying they have never had a vanilla yogurt so full of vanilla taste. So what you're doing is you are transporting flavors more effectively.
Hi, what is your functionality across temperature ranges, high and low temperature? Like ice cream?
Ice cream is perfect. Where we are less effective is sodas. Obviously, the water in the soda competes in a similar way to the saliva on your tongue. So we are developing a more effective solution, similar, same carrier, to deal with a stronger grip of the carrier on the molecules of the sugar. So they don't give them so easily to the soda.
Quick question. What does this over here?
Okay.
What does your product do both in sugar as well as in the salt in terms of shelf life of a product? Because most of the sugars added and salts are added in addition to the taste and flavor. They really expand and enhance the shelf life, which has a huge economic impact to the producer, to the retailer, to the restaurant owner? What does it do?
Okay, first of all, shelf life. Company exists 2 years, barely. So I couldn't say too much about shelf life, but I can say 6 months so far, fine. Considering the sugar reduction and the role of sugar, other than for sweetness, I'll tell you a story. A year ago, we went and brought some chocolate samples to one of the big chocolate guys in the world, and they tasted and they loved it, and they said, how much did you reduce? And we said 40%, and they went white in the face, and they said 40% on 100 grams of milk chocolate is 24 grams of sugar. You've taken off our recipe. What do you think we are going to put in exchange for it? They sent us packing. A couple of months ago, they contacted us again, and they said, okay, the market is going that direction. Please, can we talk? So things are changing, and replacing the role of sugar as a filler is complex.
Aaron, we're out of time.
Oh, thank you.